Hello, friends. So, there's a lot going on right now, talk about this Lionsgate portal. So, I'm just going to talk about this very quickly and hopefully clear up any misunderstandings about what this is actually. Now, it just so happened, okay, we have this calendar that is called a Gregorian calendar. And it was not the calendar that was used in ancient Egypt or any other cultures going way, way back. So I just want to say this whole thing about 8888 being this big portal is not at all what the Egyptians were thinking back then. So there's two different stories that are happening here with this Lion's Gate idea. The first one is this, that the star Sirius is rising as the heliacal rising star, rising before the sun. And this time of year, around mid-August, symbolizes that. Well, in ancient Egypt, this Sirius star rising would mean that the Nile was about to flood, and that would start agricultural season for the Egyptians, okay? So they really paid a lot of great heed to this star because that meant that their whole lives would change. When the Nile would flood, they had to move all their lives away from the river to make room for the flooding, and that would begin the agricultural season. Okay, so they worshiped the star because it gave them life, it gave them sustenance, it created the crops that would support their lives. So they worshiped the stars. It was like their sun. It brought life to the culture in ancient Egypt. Now, I can guarantee you, when that Sirius star would rise before the sun, indicating that the Nile would flood for the Egyptians, that was definitely not on 8/8, August 8th, as we know it today. There's A, the precession of the equinoxes, and B, they did not use this calendar at all. They had their own calendar. So this whole idea of like 8/8 is like modern numerology, or, numerology is different in every culture. Like, there's Chinese numerology, there's Indian numerology, there's Native American, there's numerology, and the number 8 means something different in all these different cultures. What happened was this whole Sirius rising in Egypt got really conflated with this idea of 8/8, August 8th. And the Egyptians were not conflating those. They were just like, oh, Sirius is going to be rising, and that means the Nile's going to flood. That means it's the beginning of our agricultural season, and we have to move our cities away from the Nile so we don't drown, okay? And that has nothing to do with August 8th. It has nothing to do with being this like portal of manifestation. And I just find that the New Age community has just gotten fluffier and fluffier, and people become more and more gullible every year to believe anything they hear. It's like you can say, oh, there's a portal, Lionsgate, 8/8, the star Sirius rises. It's like, yeah, every decan, there's a different star that rises all the time, and they're all meaningful, actually. We could look at all of them, and they're all pretty beautiful. But Sirius is definitely not the only one. I guess you could call any star rising a portal if you want. This is definitely not what the Egyptians had in mind way back when. It was basically symbolizing the beginning of their agricultural season in life. And they weren't using our Gregorian man-made calendar that a bunch of dudes sat around creating this calendar that has nothing at all to do with the actual cycles of the moon, our Earth, and the solar system. Our calendar is not even based on the lunar cycle, a moon cycle, which is 28, 29 days. Our calendar is based on 30 days, 31 days, which includes a leap year. So this whole idea of 8/8 and the conflating of that with the Nile, just no. I'm sorry. There's this thing called epistemology, like wrong information gets transferred. It's like this big game of telephone. And before we know it, we see all kinds of like clickbait media out there talking about it. So just like, keep your wits, have a critical mind, and question these things you hear. My friend Amanda told me there was like some of this from a glass blowing studio, like scrap glass that they throw out, that somebody was selling on Etsy as like this new rare gemstone. And all these people were spending thousands of dollars on it. It was like scrap glass. Okay. I just wanted all of you to, first of all, just listen, explore. Um, I've heard that if you Google the origins of Lionsgate, there's going to be basically somebody apparently in the 90s that some dude had a channel, and it was something that he made up in 1996 for that certain year. And that's when the word Lionsgate portal just arrived by some dude in 1996. And that got conflated with 8/8 numerology and Sirius rising, all these things. Yeah, yeah, it's deep. And there's another part. It's like a lot of people are saying 8/8, it's the alignment of Sirius and Orion. Well, hello, Sirius and Orion are always in aligned because this Sirius is the dog star, Orion is the hunter. Essentially, Sirius is the dog of the hunter. They're always aligned in some way. That is not anything new happening either. So, yeah, I just wanted to hop on. And I mean, sure, you can try to manifest or do whatever today. Do that any day. But know that it is not like this big portal open that's going to give you anything and everything you might want. I think that manifesting is a great thing and a fine thing. It's definitely, I don't see it personally as a form of spirituality or anything like that. But there are certain times where if you set intentions, if you put things out into the world, sure, the doors will open more easily. There's times to get on the waves. This is just this whole collapsing of different stories together, which is kind of bogus. So that's it. Let me know what you think. Please send a message back. Super curious how you all feel about this. If anybody is just like repeating stuff they've heard about the Lionsgate, or if anybody's actually looked into it. I can guarantee you if you talk to a real astrologer who knows fixed stars and things like that, they're going to